What's going on, fellas? Welcome back to another ride along. Let me make sure these doors are locked. So, today's ride along is actually going to be a park along, all right? Because I'm going to be parked the whole time. But, like I said in my last video, these car videos are cool because it's just like I'm sitting with the homie and we're just chopping it up about life. So, let's go ahead and get right into it. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about never quit. Because the day that you quit on the life that it is that you want, the day that you let a temporary failure stop you from continuing and being relentless in your approach towards achieving the life that it is that you want, is the day that you tell yourself that you are not worth it. That's the day that you tell yourself you are not worth it. I will never quit. And you want to know why? Because if someone out there has what it is that I want, if someone out there is living the life that it is that I want, I deserve it too. And the day that I tell myself I quit is the day that I tell myself that I'm not worth it. And that will never happen because I'm worth the best of the best in this world. If someone has the baddest bitch, I'm worth that. If someone has the nicest whip, I'm worth that. If someone has the nicest house, I'm worth that. If someone has the nicest watch, I'm worth that. And I will continue in my approach towards achieving the life that it is that I want, and so should you. You should never let a temporary failure stop you from continuing forward. And in order to be relentless in your approach, in order to never, gotta keep my eye, gotta make sure my surroundings. That's a key tip for you guys. Always make sure that you keep your head on a swivel, okay? But in order to be relentless in your approach and never quit and never get discouraged when you're met with temporary failures in this world, which is a guarantee if you're going towards anything in this world. If you want to learn how to talk to women, you're going to be met with temporary failures. If you want to start a business, you're going to be met with temporary failures. If you want to start a YouTube channel, you're going to be met with temporary failures. It is a guarantee. So, in order to be relentless in your approach towards life and achieving the life that it is that you want, you simply have to accept that failure is a part of it. But the moment that you accept it, you have to reprogram your mind because you're taught that failure is a bad thing. Failure is a bad thing, right? That's the reason why so many people quit at the first sign of temporary failure because they've been told that failure is a bad thing. Failure is actually a good thing, okay? And let me explain, right? Failure is not a good thing in the way that if you accept it and you accept defeat, you have actually failed. But if you take that failure and you simply reprogram your mind to seeing it as something that is just feedback for you to make the next step in a better move, then guess what? You're actually getting closer towards success. It's like fucking Squid Games, right? Think about Squid Games. I just thought about this. If the person in front of you just failed, right? The person in front of you, they were going on the steps or whatever and the tile fell, right? They went down, they failed, right? Is that a bad thing? Sure, it's a bad thing for them. They're dead. They're dead as a doorknob. But for you, you just saw how they failed. And now you can make a better step the next time. So you see how failure actually gets you closer towards success if you can rewire your brain properly and see failure as a good thing? See failure as something that is letting you know what you have to correct in order to get closer towards your goal? Because the moment that you start seeing failure that way, let's just say you want to start learning how to talk to women, right? Why do so many guys fear talking to women? They fear rejection. I don't fear rejection. I see rejection as a great thing, right? There was a point where I didn't know how to talk to women. I think, everyone starts there, right? Unless you're just Mr. fucking perfect, right? You're just Mr. Perfect, right? You're just him. Oh, you came out the womb. You were talking to the motherfucking nurse, risen her up, right? You were over here, laying it down on the nurse. Maybe that's you. Who knows, right? We might have found Mr. Perfect over here. But for every other guy, when you didn't know how to talk to women, the guys who do know how to talk to women, it's not, see, the incels always see them as someone that is just him and just never fucking had a problem with women. No. The guys who are successful at anything have failed way more than you have. Michael Jordan, right? Look up one of his quotes. He said that he's missed like over 3,000 shots or something like that, right? He is not Michael Jordan because he's just Mr. Successful. No, he's actually Michael Jordan because he has shot a basketball way more times than you have. He's missed way more times than you have. But he took that as a lesson. He said, okay, this shot didn't go in. Why didn't it go in? Right? The question why is so powerful. I love that word. Why? Why? Why uncovers the truth? Why goes deeper? Why dives deeper into the reason as to why it is that you failed? And when you ask yourself why, you say, why did that shot not go in? Okay, maybe I don't know basketball terms, right? I used to play basketball as a kid, but I don't like sports other than UFC, right? But you know, maybe you flicked the wrist a little too hard, right? Maybe you did something wrong that if you could pay attention and see what you did wrong, you could correct it the next time. And then you might fail, but you might fail a little closer to your goal. You might fail a little bit closer to your goal, right? Let's just stick on approaching women for a second, right? You approach a woman, and the first time, you're nervous. You're over here shaking. You're like a stripper. Hi, miss. How are you doing? Oh my God. And piss is running down your leg, right? That's you, right? Cool. Okay. Next time, don't drink as much water. All right. Next time I know. This time I pissed my fucking legs when I went and approached that woman because she was so bad. Oh my goodness. I follow all these Instagram models. She was so bad. I pissed my legs. Okay, cool. Now you know. Don't drink too much water, right? And then, okay, next time. Okay, so I was a little bit shaky. All right, so what do? How do you control your nerves? You breathe. Okay, maybe you weren't breathing. So the next time comes around, you haven't drank, as much water as you did the first time. So this time, you don't piss yourself, right? Second time, right? What else do? You control your breathing. Even if you get rejected, maybe you got a couple more minutes out of the woman, right? Maybe you got a little more of her time. Maybe you got her attention a little bit more. As opposed to the first time, she was like, who the fuck is this weirdo? Why is he shaking? Does this guy have Parkinson's? Hey, no disrespect to the people with Parkinson's. She's like, why is he pissing himself? What? Get this weirdo out of here, right? But the next time, you still might have gotten rejected. Cool. But now it was a little more smooth, right? Now the approach was a little more smooth. Okay, cool. All right, I'm getting the hang of this, right? Okay, so control my breathing. Don't drink too much water because Abdiel said don't drink too much water because I don't want to piss myself again. Okay, what's next? Okay, my tone of voice. Okay, so this time I was over here high pitched like, hey miss, how you doing? So this time I'm gonna lower it down. I'm gonna be on some, hey miss, how you doing today? Right? And so, boom. Now this time, you actually set a date, right? You actually set a date. All these failures have been getting you closer to your goal. It's the same thing in sales. It's the same thing with anything. I'm just using an example, but you can take this lesson and apply it to anything that it is that you want to apply it to, right? Whatever it is that you're doing. Whether you're in college, if you're in college, cool. All right, you failed your test, cool, right? I got my real estate license, and I never got into real estate, but when I was 18, I wanted to get my real estate license, right? And so I failed, and I failed 7 times. 7 times, right? But I've never been a fucking quitter. I've never been a quitter. I can say that proudly, that I've never been a quitter, and I will never be a quitter, okay? I will get what I want out of this life. Unless for some reason my heart stops pounding, I don't have breath in my lungs, I don't wake up, okay, at least I know I died trying, right? But I've never been a quitter. So what did I do? I failed 7 times, and you have to take a month in between the test. So that was 7 fucking months. So the first time, what did I do? Okay, I failed. Second time, I failed again. But why did I fail? I failed because I didn't correct my mistake the first time. Okay, I failed. Second time, failed again. Third time, failed again. for some reason, I was thinking that success was just supposed to pop up out of nowhere. No, that's not how it works. It was around the seventh try that I started to really think about it, and I was like, why am I failing? Why? Right? Because someone out there has it. They're providing this test. So if the test is here, that means that the possibility of passing it is there. It doesn't mean that you can't pass it. It's not impossible. So what am I doing wrong? I'm not studying hard enough. Okay, cool. So the next time, what did I do? I fucking took all the audiobooks and I listened to it every single day. I didn't listen to no music. No music, no YouTube videos. I had that shit literally memorized. I had it memorized. I had it on my Apple. I had downloaded it to my Apple Music. And I would just play it every single day, over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, right? And then I would get a book and I would read every single page, highlight, 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 highlight. Then I looked up a mock test. And what did I do? I did that mock test over and over and over and over and over again. I paid for the subscription. And I did the mock test over and over and over again. Funny enough, the seventh time, I succeeded. I got my real estate license. How? Because I failed over and over again. But when I started to realize that the failures were a lesson, and it wasn't a bad thing, it wasn't to make me quit, it wasn't to make me stop and stop pursuing my goal, it was simply just a lesson. It was a lesson. Brother, you need to pay attention to whatever it is that you're doing wrong so that you can improve the next time. And boom, success appears, right? We wouldn't have light bulbs if Thomas Edison stopped. What did he do? Like 10,000 times or some shit? I think he tried like 10,000 times. It's either 10,000 or 1,000. I don't know exactly. But he said something along the lines, right? I'm not going to quote it exactly because I don't remember. I'm not fucking Albert Einstein, okay? But he said something along the lines of, I did not fail 10,000 times. I just learned what I was doing wrong, right? I learned a better way to do it. I did not fail 10,000 times. I learned 9,999 ways to do it better. That's it. That's the key to success. That is the key to success. And if you can take that and you can download it into your mind and accept it as the truth, then you can have anything that you want in this life. It might not come quick. It might not come easy. But you can 100% guarantee get whatever it is that you want out of this life. And that's how. I'm telling you. And if you're someone who needs help, listen, I've gone from skinny to fat to fit, right? I've gone from unconfident to confident. I've gone from no social skills to my social skills are on point. Now I do door-to-door sales. Back in the day, you think I could have done door-to-door sales? Fucking getting rejected every single day? That is the life of someone in door-to-door sales. They get rejected more than anyone on this earth. Well, people in sales too, but for the most part, door-to-door sales is someone who gets rejected every single day. But the mindset of someone in door-to-door sales is that every no is getting me closer to a yes. There's people that say no, there's people that say yes, right? What is the saying that I tell myself all the time? I got this from Taylor McCarthy, I think it was, or Tom Hopkins. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's out there. Someone's waiting, right? Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. So understand that. Understand that. Every single failure, every single no is getting you closer and closer to the goal that it is that you want. Don't settle. Don't settle. If you need help, just shoot me a DM on Instagram. I got you. I'm going to strip you of all your excuses. Every single excuse you have, we will work together one-on-one, and I will put together a plan so that you can guaranteed get what it is that you want. If you're not lazy, if you're willing to put in the work, and you're ready to change your life, shoot me a DM. I got you. But understand that every failure is simply getting you closer to the goal that it is that you want. Don't settle with a woman that you don't find attractive. I would never do that. Why the fuck would I do that? Why the fuck would I be over here fucking a dingbat? Oh yeah, look at this bitch. Every time I look at her, I gotta put a trash bag over her head. Hell no. I would rather go celibate my entire life. I'll be Mr. Incel. Fuck it. I'll become a eunuch. I'll do it myself. I'll do the surgery and that's it, right? There's no bad bitches on this earth. Cool, no worries, right? I will never settle, and neither should you. You shouldn't settle for a chick that you don't find attractive. You shouldn't settle for a car that you don't want. You shouldn't settle for a house that you don't want. You shouldn't settle for the income that you don't want. You should get everything that it is that you want of this life, and you can 100% do it. The day that you quit is the day that you tell yourself you're not worth it. So start looking yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you are worth it, and accept that failure is a part of the journey, and enjoy the journey. Fall in love with the journey. Fall in love with it, because every failure makes you a stronger man. Every failure is a part of the story. Think about a story with no failures, nothing bad ever happened. That would be a pretty shit story, right? The story is good because you overcome adversity time and time again. So if you're alive, you have a shot and you can make it happen. Go ahead and drop a like on this video if it helped you out in some way. It helps me out a lot. Drop a comment and subscribe. Peace.